Gilg Jew, Gilg J as Gilg Nerach.
She Claare na Gael and Claare shows Bavaliam Shuish Altacha. My name is Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Have you ever had tell of old Bobby Bob?
This programme is called Claare na Gael, and in it you'll hear a thread in the English language as Angenius Nishu Clash and Snaelia Sahilg, and in which too you'll hear another thread in the Manx Gaelic, Chinnian Amera, the mother tongue of AALIN Vanning, the Isle of Man. As Banach and Gyrru'r, well, we heard last time about the Druids in very glowing terms, obviously drawing on romantic notions about them, such as those which were to inspire Iolo Morganwg to hold the first Eisteddfod in June 1792. I say the first Eisteddfod, the first revived Eisteddfod in June 1792. That was in London, in fact. And that was the year after David Robertson's return trip here to the island. Ons carriage Merish and Dr John Seward, Lorg on Lucca Lucy Westenra as a moir, Tanolo van Helsing, Co derate gerachti as te gerachti derate co, as es te gerachti as co ag an untre. Wel na san mi te corre ber salge gemacht de John Seward, an or ve gerachti ma so. Now, last time we heard a Breton children's song, and that was written by YOUENN GWERNIG, although we heard Nolwenn Coch Bell singing it. This is YOUENN GWERNIG, singing one of his best-known songs, E Kreiz and Nos. Tashu geistjach rish radio vanning, stashu na nashun, viskol ar skelia mach, vai doolish AALIN vanning.
Kreiz an nos, me gleef an navello, vleishal, warleia an ti. Kreiz an nos, me gleef an navello, vleishal, warleia an ti. Haver ik kwezita. Em gan na dan dau long kan I du on kan a funky stjandi. Jo sarete e chwes an navello bleishal warleia an ti. Jo sarete e chwes an navello bleishal warleia an ti. Haver ik kwezita. Alon em gan na dan dau long kan I du on kan a funky stjandi. Jo sa horno ke chwes an navello vleishal warleia an ti. Jo sa horno ke chwes an navello vleishal warleia an ti. Haver ik kwezita. Alon em gan na dan dau long kan I du on kan a funky stjandi. Jo sanduar I chwes an navello vleishal warleia an ti. Jo sanduar I chwes an navello vleishal warleia an ti. Haver ik kwezita. Alon em gan na dan dau long kan I bu on kan a funky stjandi. Jo sar mor bras e chwes an navello vleishal warleia an ti. chwys am na fel o Fleisiar Gwarleinion ti a fel I chwys I ta Alon em gan a dan dowlong con I buon con a funky stionni De ven pedu chwys am na fel brau o bev am barzon ti De ven pedu chwys am na fel brau o bev am barzon ti a fel I chwys I ta Alon em gan a dan dowlong con I buon con a funky stionni a fel I chwys I ta Alon em gan a dan dowlong con I buon con a funky stionni
A Kreiz and Nos in the Middle of the Night, written and performed by Breton author YOUENN GWERNIG. The idyll of the Druids as noble priests and rulers of the ancient Britons was shattered by the arrival of the Romans, and the Druids retreated to Ynys the Isle of Anglesey. But then, says David Robertson, they were defeated. Their venerable king Caractacus carried in chains to Rome, and the whole race almost exterminated by the insatiate sword of the polished Romans. The few who survived the general slaughter escaped to the Isle of Man, where they were generously received by their brethren, and, amid the wild solitudes of this country, at a distance from the cry of havoc and the dogs of war, found a happy asylum. Here they planted new groves, and in a footnote he says, in those fine meadows called the Gyrru'r, which were formerly an extensive bog, roots of oak trees have been discovered at 18 or 20 feet from the surface, which were probably buried here by some violent concussion subsequent to the era of the Druids. Fodum gerach di lorish ai Lucy, tanolwg in Dr John Seward, gerach di tret yn chreiv ai kibber clerach na killach, tuja merach hoffinek, as grey crank de machri, der te corbak a fool as miljegan. Ta trimpsje ons machri son a ilje bach shen, a ilje min shen, kaartje esh, ma ilje heen, de beiden a rei o bannet, de berge hannacht en bio, as lesje voltegge as de soelien jane soortschedden, as maar zo, ta visse der node wel chwischele mer. Ach, de jai tret e grey ridden was cor jalg de veel vio machriem, maar dunje shesha, as cor machri, maar ve meich hon, na wel a nacht les dunje bielje, genel hier de hon, machara John, no de welshin de scorme onze gil channit ein na smaak, ach hier gliede trei, tan ri garachti chittou. As te gemach as beruche ons machlish, she mishtan. AALIN CLAGUE with her own song Drillinyn, inspired by Mona Douglas's interest in theosophy.
Kuschlach
Gael and CLAGUE in her song Drillinyn, Sparks. Der a vis the fool chit downson back on, as corlesh pert je sailshin a grania te gimmer galesh, gus a yeganem. O, Dr John, sail quairton, sail trimshach, sail ledden de chreizen as de hiechnen, as de vorgen, as na jai tret en rie gerach die chit, te coraru ulju downson rishachar te clai. Kriech en seechnich, as crowin chirrum sa rullik, as jair to last the house tad tushum, tad ulju downson kujach rishachiol te juno lesh a vi lega gin munga. As craig me Dr John, de veli mai de hit as kinjal. Ah, ta shingen the danias mren, gurish tedden tarnit de chon lesh chenij, vis tarn shin koch leonerd. Esh tan a jair chit. As gurish a fjaer na tedden tad coror in chonacha, der a fudit and chenid chit de ve rauer, as ta shin brisha. Ach, and ri gerach di, te chit gurish sailshin a grania, as te liagacha a chenid rish, ta shin surl gul leshnin labrach, Claare be vishen. David Robertson suggests a violent concussion to account for oak trees' roots deep under the Gwrach, and he tries to tie that in with something else he's seen in this footnote. Near Castletown, some traces of an earthquake and of a volcanic eruption have been observed. Tradition is, however, silent on these subjects. Well, the volcanic activity is from geological history long before human prehistory. But anyway, the roots of oak trees in the Gwrach are, Robertson suggests, an example of the Druids having planted new groves there. And he says they also increased their temples, and for some ages governed the people by their mild laws and venerable institutions, till about the close of the 4th century, when the light of Christianity broke on this island. And then the Druids, who had ever contemned the idolatry of the neighbouring nations, gradually embraced a system of religion which, in purity and sublimity, resembled, yet infinitely surpassed, their own. Ah, the joys of late 18th century Christianity. Welsh band Pedwar yn y Bar, Gwrachod Llanddona. I think that's the Wizard of Llanddona. And then Gyrru'r blaen, driving the world forward. It's also known as Breuddwyd y Wrach, the dream of the witch. Stasiwn yn asiwn to Radio Fanning, as yn sio tasiw geis jachrys Claare na Gael. Mer yn pyn Robert gyda'n corsol, Robert y Corslach.
Did the other hear tell of old Bobby Bob?
De Claare na Gael maast na chiden dúren de Claare jint mar podcasten vis regedden nasty in de radio vanning. Na true den reich de podcast jouish. No de veled regedden Apple Podcasts, Amazon Audible, Spotify, Google Podcasts, TuneIn na Alexa. As de immer die Claare en radio vanning rechlaschen yes, true den chraman agert de radio vanning, reschachten lukt au guller skelie maag hoyacht. Now, we're on to chapter 13, and this has a preamble. Bishop's Court. Antiquity of the bishopric. Characters of Bishops Wilson, Hildersley, Richmond, Mason, and Criggan. Derivation of the title of Soda. Patronage of the bishopric. Bishop's revenue and officers. About a mile from Kirkmichael, he says, is the residence of the Bishop of Soda and Man, which was formerly a venerable edifice, but by the present bishop the ancient palace was demolished, and on its ruins a modern building erected, inferior in external magnificence, but more adapted to the refinement and luxury of modern times. Now this is Bishop Claudius Criggan. We heard about him not that long ago. Born in Omagh, County Tyrone, he was an army chaplain in the West Indies, and he married a rich widow and returned to Britain. He got preferment as a friend of the Dowager Duchess of Derby, and his Claudius Criggan's episcopacy attracted suggestions of simony, the appointment of clergy by payment of a fee. It was never proven against him, but it was noted that there seemed a number of unsuitable appointees in the clergy at that time. Charaumi giri korun drachel jorish liga arm na raumi tiggle en aiege, ach no na raumi forst tiggle en or en gerachti vraimi jay. Chawd dan sŵr henken edenege de ve trom chwsiach, as dwrte le sien elie de bollachsach o'r eiege. O, fen chreid grau je ulju shoh, a ven choel en shoh je sienet leis blaen, as ish gien gebwech as bios, der affair as fair, was in gindis raui maru de vier. Ish, courage na lais a tai marble cho brau shen, so rollig verdenach shen, Onji ta goil fe chwildien mungerji, courage nan lai on shen, merish a voir hug graiji, as G huggy grai. As a chlag chajerich shen gol, cling, 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 cho trimshach as mall, as na sagerton shen, lesh na garmadan bena an einel yigaru da lai jorn, as force a cledden train as suljenok na vel gien an dullig, as shingen ulju leis a chion chromich, as ulju shoh, crin fair, ti maru, na so, nuel shenanacht. Now SEONAG NIC CHOINNICH from the Isle of Lewis says, though sunny the day, little is her joy, so she's going barefoot down to the Keyless to wait for her love, but she'll not give him a kiss.
Oh, grianach latha. Oh, hurry, ho, ro, hurry, ho, spek my rivoyet. Oh, hurry, ho, ro, hurry, ho, smiri fahu achul shoh. Hurry, ho, ro, hurry, to hurri horo hurri vora ho ho hurri ho.
As that SEONAG NIC CHOINNICH, with pupils of the Woodside Secondary School in Glasgow, had since become the Scoilralig Glasichel. Wel, son shen as ulju allu, doort me, chanodum fagen weg de rerich de ons ulju jay shen. Kamma, ten seilsige maaghed junoenus dolly de higgle na rai. Ach, eer me was shiration on looke atch, kreiz jay art bach as a vorre eggesen. De jarrow gerawe chrie eggach brisha. Shen me vee. Nach doorte de ren chlaare nul oils egges jachons na kuslien nek en jinu ji de vier ben chesha. Doort, as we my millish giaull desen. Son shigeris, ach verdolje dan, machara John. De berge morsen, nesh kremach jon na vier elje. Esh, ten boydjen go millish shoh, na ben folly dun joil. As mish. As me ben vocht maruem, ach bjor credu in Aglish, ach gin kiel, uljuer soel, eer mish me wonje shesje firrenjachten wen chesje ne wel on is show, she fair def husemish. Gaan al me vagen en achten spotje shen noder, doort me. Robertson gives some ecclesiastical history now. The bishopric of the island, he says, was founded in 447 and was committed to Germanus, a holy and prudent man ad regendum et prudiendum populum in fide Christe, which means for the people to be ruled and preserved in the faith of Christ, which is quoting Joscelinus, a monk of Furness Abbey. In relation to Germanus, he says, as a public testimony of the veneration due to his virtues, the cathedral of the isle was dedicated to him. And another footnote here quotes Bishop Wilson again. This cathedral was built by Simon, Bishop of Soda, who died in 1245 and was here buried. And so, after Germanus then, we rush on a bit, because he says, his successors were numerous, and some of them were distinguished by their learning and piety, among whom the Manx, with some degree of pride and gratitude, may rank the name of Isaac Barrow, a prelate of great beneficence who was translated to the See of St. Asaph. And so, as I say, we jumped forward another 400 plus years now. Off now to Cornwall with the Stows, who sing about tin and copper boys.
Come on, you jolly tenor lads, and listen unto me. I'll tell you of a story that shall make ye for to see, concerning Bunny Party and the scams that he have made, to stop our tin and copper mines and all our pilcher trade. Hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise, hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their hardy eyes, hurrah for all the gentry and may they never fail, hurrah, hurrah for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all. He summoned 40,000 men to Poland they did go, and for to rob and plunder very, very well do know. But 10,000 men were killed, and lay dead in blood and gore, and 30,000 ran away, I can't tell thee where I'm sure. Hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise, hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their hardy eyes, hurrah for all the gentry and may they never fail, hurrah, hurrah for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all. Party at 40,000 still, to make into an army for to work his wicked will, and try for to invade us if he don't quickly fly, and 40,000 Cornish lads don't know the reason why. Hurrah for tin and copper boys and fisheries likewise, hurrah for Cornish maidens and bless their hairy eyes, hurrah for all the gentry and may they never fail, hurrah, hurrah for Cornwall, hurrah boys one and all.
Hurrah, hurrah for Cornwall, hurrah for one and all, the Stows and Tin and Copper Boys. And the Stows include Kevin Bryn, who was here with the band Carrigy Doo for Shanach's Stew not very long ago, and then they went off to Carlow in Ireland to take, well, not to take part, but they ended up taking part in the Pan-Celtic International Song Contest, and they won it. So it's been a good year for him, and as I say, he's a member of the Stows. Now, Isaac Barrow was a sword bishop holding spiritual power as bishop from 1663 to 1669, and also temporal power as governor. And Thomas Wilson says this about Isaac Barrow, that through the poverty of the place the church may never want fit persons to perform divine offices and to instruct the people in necessary truths and duties, the pious and worthy Dr. Isaac Barrow obtained a grant of £100 a year, payable out of the excise for ever, for the better maintenance of the poor vicars and schoolmasters of his diocese. And the good bishop found means to pay for the impropriations of the isle. This is to do with the tithes which were going to the Lord of Man rather than to the clergy, which, besides an old rent and fine still payable to the Lord of the isle, may be worth to the clergy and schools about £100 more. Besides this, he collected £600, the interest of which maintains an academic master. Rhaw mi gennych den rhaw fwy a chris dy rhaw ei Greirydd yn liad sien. Hwg ei a lawer my rai ys dwrt ei. My chara John, lai daw ei my vis comus gintem. Cherem mi sail sig ymach my ennych den da fyr elia tra ynnych ei cor yn drach arw, ach unrach yn duts my chian chara, os ys fodym cor barnt onyd. De berg eblid vei ed, de ien stjach zijn chrie meg a tre shen, ren mi gerachti. De berg eblid vei ed tre renke gerachti, de berg eblid ed de Gyrru'r shen nish. Treten ri gerachti a chorer soelen ade egge, a zulje vis egge, sant e gol vader warm, as ris tammelt viel jouwer. Fuddy de jinnach goil chimma jim, na smoon olju. Van mij de gianegge ginneworm, as vrij mi en oor. No, de wel vissem. As nish, tashinulju skilch maag, as rishimma die lein jouwre bifa denit na haier skinnach leein, riskien en gromach. Irish band Dervish, and they'll be here for Gwrnig in 2 months' time on Saturday the 28th of July, playing at the Peel Centenary Centre, so something to look forward to. Grab your tickets now.
The Nation Station, Next Radio.
Stasiwn yn asiwn tyn eisio, radio fanning, si Claare na Gael fysgol sgeilia mach ac yn treton. Mish Robert Cutting Carswell, Robert a Carslach.
Ever heard tell of owl Bobby Bob?
Ta Lucy na lai ons liachja kinne, tai woezel a wesh ons rollig verdenach, soelwailon in ploegich les slai, bol ta oeron, as ten green giri skin kronk Hampstead, as bal te blaen fai gas jane en jouwen heen. Maar so, vodem korkion a giaull shoh. As genel vis a gek ginnem toiach der verelje. Maar wim, me wim arach fosle verschorisch, bier de git slai elje, kushen elje. Sonnen shoh ag jedda, red te kush graai me wei inch, rost da golbak de goil arm koers aber me wei, tammy grei de trimshach, as gintreist, finis. The Westminster Gazette, and Gwrachod feed main fower, Foliach Hampstead. Ten een boenes Hampstead kaarte getreit on, burrit les strein de hakerten, vis gien de wei gols en onage shen, as we en erig, skruder en linnigen maar, an hush aglach Kensington, ne een wen saach, ne een wen sen edach doe. Well, Isaac Barrow was, of course, interested in education, and his name became associated with the later King William's College, whose scholars are Barrovians, and the badge includes Isaac Barrow's coat to arms. Thomas Wilson goes on. By Bishop Barrow's own private charity, he purchased 2 estates in land worth £20 a year for the support of such young persons as should be designed for the ministry, so that the name and good deeds of that excellent prelate will be remembered with gratitude so long as any sense of piety remains among them. Well, of course, what Thomas Wilson doesn't refer to here is Barrow's disgraceful conduct in identifying Hango Hill as producing an income for his grand design, and so as governor he evicted its owners, the Lace family, and when they appealed they faced a hearing conducted by the governor and the bishop. Well, of course, Isaac Barrow was the governor and Isaac Barrow was the bishop, and they were left landless while Barrow appropriated the income from Hango Hill for his educational trust. Well, this is the Breton band now called Eben, or Eban, I'm not quite sure, with their 3 singers, though, Sterren, Marine, and another Sterren. This is Pascouillir a Chemenaire.
La 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 a di meher, dal trippe varpe ma huer, di mersa di meher, que menerico que menero, hala reza zictaler, que menerico que menero, hala reza zictaler, que menerica tena frimes en tormi, que menerico tena frimes en tormi, a deux allers d'orvejar, de scos que meneric van, deux allers d'orvejar, de scos que meneric van, la de hober en trodans, tintis goyoli da hadans, de hober en trodans, tintis goyoli da hadans, nina zis goli da bar, la coda game stracan, zis goyoli da bar, la coda game stracan, nina zis goli da bar, la coda game stracan, zis goyoli da bar, la coda game stracan, la coda game stracan, la hongori de Canada, la coda game stracan, la hongori de Canada, itiani che trebuli me broste non pesca fu, itiani che trebuli me broste non pesca fu, me broste non pesca fu, me streda fago de bodu, me broste non pesca fu, me streda fago de bodu, la 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 la
Long Pascou, the tailor, Pascou here a Chemener. He went out on a Friday to steal because all the men were away in the wars and there was no one to make trousers for. Anyway, that was Breton band. Could be Eben. I say that with all the assuredness of complete ignorance, I'm afraid. I'll have to find out. Now, although Isaac Barrow was translated to St Asaph in 1669, he was allowed to retain the income from Soda and Man until 1671, apparently to help pay for his costs in moving and setting up a new household in Llanelwy, the church on the River Elwy, which is the Welsh name of the small city which is otherwise referred to as St Asaph. Isaac Barrow died in Shrewsbury in 1680 and he's buried in the cathedral there. Anyway, we'll return to David Robertson's text now. We heard him quoting from Bishop Thomas Wilson in a footnote earlier, and then, having mentioned Bishop Isaac Barrow, he writes, "Some years afterwards, Thomas Wilson was consecrated Bishop of Soda and Man. This venerable prelate, after a life of exemplary piety and benevolence, died in the 58th year of his consecration, and lies buried in the churchyard of Kirkmichael. To Bishop Wilson, many of the poor natives are indebted for the most invaluable blessings. Riscus the laen tengel sha te reger en cwsir feon, as pech yn ega gol y siar yn fain yn dau, na liga sha chit vai a chlaiog y rist. Ond soliad y cwsyn sio van a pech yn ro eg de chor cwnta bi jaus yn hun var a hegel de kaart, ach, van consensus jane lestiulen de rawad fe merish benevolent. Fe de kindjach amach se faster beg tred had in Gael, as der Gyrru'r geraun de pech en in gedden der morgen se vore agin. Tan goed smoede lijsen de boenes shielten, een oder ouwen gidpeetje verkailt, koren oorregges on bij a serach, der en benevolent vraag je de gits on kosjiach, der en de firelia genoaris jane rei, as der en de dimage treba femok Shoh jint smoedugesach een oder wel rij gammen de vier wegge getreid on, de kleine Ursula Gaelia trut klinken. Now, a trip on the sea is a thing that suits me. Two short pieces now from Kurjan Kujach.
Shoh the soo, shoh the soo, shoh the soo, Shoh the soul, my feather brow. Shoh the soul, shoh the soul, shoh the soul, my feather brow, my feather brow. That's the tide of Kinnick, shoh the soul, my feather brow. Shoh the soul, my feather brow. Show the sun of the brow. Constantine and Gimmick and Leicester and Goyle and the Scourges. Show the sun of the brow. Old and Grianach so spare as the fallen and Senair, as the free of Marcus get like noon as no. As for might and bear the fun, skip a Drudnaton and Roy, as the tetanus I left belly gold them all. Tash and Sean and Eric
gol ar asgus man yn fi, a steg met y man ac deg yn y gyr. O tymog yr ein dylio, a si sysnes ledge yn fwr, ta si ffag yn sin y mach e gwn y grwnia. Ta sin jich yn y gyn, iem y drost yn i ddylie, as da tatnus ac a fwlio ben ys gwnia. Ta sin jon yr y cyn, gol ar asgus man yn fi, a steg met y man ac deg yn y gyr. Ta sin jon yr eisiau ffwrs, as da ein yn gosws.
Oh, that's in Cole and verse Jerry J. Shen. Sholl or shul sail away and fegments in manach deg an urga, pert Gwrachod Llanddona, we say farewell to the sea with Kirch and Cújach. Te pech enjach and skriwen dun gred and erd atje say fag and custje a perch and beggar liga oru de way ben AALIN. Fully de be less soonen regetten a custje a cleider and ein ons kreidje grena, te de grey, joris casola riechid rishanarish. David Robertson goes on to give a portrait of Bishop Thomas Wilson, and it opens with this sentence: venerable in his aspect, meek in his deportment, his face illumined with benignity, and his heart glowing with piety, like his divine master, he went about doing good. And we'll continue from there next time.
Heb fod clychau'r haf o tanno, fel dyferion o ryw lasfro, wedi disgyn rhwng y brig.
At 9 o'clock this evening, Judith Leigh will be here with Sundown, but hovering in the wings is Chris Pearson to bring 2 hours of the best chill-out music for your Sunday evening between 7 and 9 o'clock. To bring us up to 9 o'clock, we finish with music by Welsh singer, songwriter and harp player Gyrru'r. It's the title track from her album Mai, which is the month of May. Sianne Nish, as my saw, until the next time then, this is Robert Cutting Carswell or Robert a Carslach.
Old Bobby Bob.
Wishing you a very good night. Eve I'm a chreiru as ortsel ye, as my yeary and shared you will you.
Gwen fy myd bod tro a dde.